What's up, fellas? Today I'm busting your builds. Let's get into it. All right, gentlemen, we made it. Alexa, order 7,000 pounds of sildenafil and minoxidil. Guys, welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you stopping by once again. Hopefully that order actually went through and you are now the proud owner of 4,000 pounds of dick pills. So today we are going to be busting your builds. I asked you guys on YouTube Shorts, on Twitter, and on, X and Instagram to submit some builds that you guys have, whether it's pistol, rifle, shotgun, bullpup, bolt gun, whatever it is. I asked you guys to send me a few photos through DM on my Instagram with a breakdown of the build, and I'm just gonna kind of critique them a little bit. I may bust your balls a little bit, okay? Don't take it personally. This is all in jest, gentlemen. It's all in jest. And also, the person who submits the build I like the most gets to go home with this for free, which is a module. Oh shit, it's a real gift. This is real jack shag right here, dude. This is no fake stuff. You got your white light, you have laser only or light only. See right here, green laser, vis laser only, and of course you can't see it. Then you have your IR laser option as well. Of course can't see it, obviously. Comes with a tape switch, comes with a battery charger, mounts to a Picatinny rail. This would be a great addition to any basic setup. So this will be shipped to you free of charge as long as you submitted a build for the Bust Your Builds episode. Isn't that crazy? If you would have just taken 5 seconds to DM me something on Instagram, you could go home with this for free. This is almost like when your buddy told you like 10 years ago, dude, I heard about this thing called Bitcoin. You should put like $10 into it. And you're like, nah, dude, you're crazy. I would never do that. Why would I do that? And now you could have been a multi-gajillionaire. Okay? You could have had you could have had any module, but you didn't. There's always next time, which there will be a next time. I've got actually quite a few of these things, and I will be giving them away progressively throughout these episodes. So for the next one, submit your build. All right, let's get into the first build. Okay, so up here I'm gonna put the picture of the build. This is actually Fursy. I did a video about a question that Fursy asked a while back, and he submitted a build for this video. Pretty great. Thanks, Fursy. Appreciate the support as always. He has a Shadow Systems XR920P. That's great. We all know, if you're a viewer of the channel, that I am also a Shadow Systems XR920P enjoyer as well. Let's take a look at how Fursy has built his out. He's got a Holosun 509T enclosed emitter red dot on there. That's a good red dot. Matching bronze color pins, slide release, and takedown lever. Tactical pontoon trigger with a Marksman competition spring kit and an Overwatch precision minus connector. Nightcore light. I haven't heard of them in a while. And Metgar 18 round magazines. Okay, so looking at this build, it's not bad. It's tasteful. I do like the color coordination. I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of thing, as you can kind of tell from my rifle right here. This looks like if John Wick I'm not trying to tear you apart too bad, but I'm just imagining, like, if John Wick went bankrupt and had to still buy like a sick gun, he probably would go from like the Pit Viper, he'd grab one of these. It looks cool. Obviously it's a Shadow Systems, I'm a fan. The magazine release, I probably would stay away from that. I like the factory magazine release in the Shadow System stuff already. I think their magazine release is really good. However, I get that it matches. I will say I do like the matching pins. That's pretty cool. Comment down below for me, Fursy. Did you Cerakote these, or did you just buy these on their own, as, you know, coated or whatever with like TCIN or something? I do like that. I do like the extended slide release. The one that comes in the Shadow Systems, not great. They're very flat and very sharp towards the back end of that slide release, and it can actually be a little bit uncomfortable. So I do like this. However, if it was my gun, I probably would go with the CAGWorks extended slide release that brings it up higher, so you don't get those accidental failures to lock back because your support hand grip. So the Nightcore light, I have never seen this light. It kind of looks like, is it Surefire? Does Surefire do the little battery thing that comes down from the bottom? It looks like it's like the Surefire mixed with a Streamlight on the back, the switches. Very interesting. Honestly though, as long as you can find holsters for it and it's robust, whatever lumen count is good enough for you is good enough for you. But as long as you can find holsters for it, I mean, nothing wrong with it, really. I guess it's kind of budget. I suppose if you're buying a Shadow Systems, I would say that I would assume maybe you have the money or the credit card ability to get a more well-known light, but I mean, you know, it is what it is. Now, the Holosun 509T is a really good dot. I do really like the 509T. I do think on some pistols, the 509T can look a little bit goofy, almost in a similar way to the Trijicon RCR. I think that is a very strange looking red dot, although I'm sure it's great. A little bit quirky looking, and I think that the 509T kind of falls in that category for me. Very functional, very robust. I like all of them except for the X1. The X1 had some really bad distortion, so hopefully this is an X2, but totally functional. The deck height on the 509T is very high too, so you need to have really tall sights to even think about co-witnessing through it. And I don't believe the factory iron sights can co-witness on even a Shadow Systems, which has some taller sights already. So I probably would look at maybe getting something a little bit lower, perhaps like the Lens Steel PB3 right here. It's on this Dusk 19, Rainier Arms Dusk 19R Lone Wolf collab right here. The PB3 comes with a ghost adapter plate that sets this thing super low on any RMR cut pistol. For an enclosed red dot, I think it looks really good. So 509T, not bad, but I would probably try and find something a little bit lower. And now the trigger. I'll be honest, for a serious gun, I don't know if I would put a trigger like that in it, just because of the looks and kind of the aesthetic of it. You said you had like a competition spring kit in there, so if this is more competitive and more for speed and accuracy and stuff like that, for, you know, chasing split times and whatever, if it works for you, it works for you. I do like the color coordination. So overall, I like this build. A couple things I would change, but it's pretty decent. I think this is pretty freaking cool, and I do appreciate the support as always, Fursey. I see you down there in the comments all the time, so thank you so much. On to the next submission. So the next submission is from a gentleman named Edgar Allan Pugh. First off, the fact that you got a hold of that damn name is amazing, dude. What a freaking tagline name. That's awesome. Edgar Allan Pugh. He's got a YouTube channel himself, so if you guys want to be awesome and support the 2A community and growing creators like myself, I'm not massive by any means, go check out Edgar Allan Pugh on YouTube. He sent a rifle build. Arrow Precision Gen 2 lower, BCM blue upper. He meant Blem upper, I'm sure. I get you, man. I know what you meant. Daniel Defense lower parts kit, Veltor A5 buffer system, SBA 3 pistol brace, Ballistic Advantage government profile, 11.5 barrel, Surefire closed tine war comp, Midwest Industries combat rail, Streamlight HLX on an Arasaka M-Lock mount, Cloud Defensive tape switch mount, Daniel Defense grip, BCM 4 grip, Triton Navigator 1-6 LPVO. So let's take a look at this build. All right, this looks, don't take this the wrong way, but this looks like something that I would pick up, like a battlefield pickup in Ukraine. I have seen some videos, as we all have, of that war where they're using like Chinesium stuff, like straight up like real war fighters are using, you know, Amazon, AliExpress, Alibaba kit, and they're doing work with it. So up to a point, that still works out. This one, it's got a little bit of like a thrown together kind of vibe. I don't hate it by any means. It's spray painted, which a buddy of mine thinks that every rifle should be spray painted, so I'm sure he would appreciate that. I do like the Streamlight light. I'm not a massive fan of how big their lights can be, and a little bit of their model naming I think is really annoying. The way they kind of like the nomenclature for their models is really annoying, but Streamlight has been making really robust lights for a very long time, and they're totally adequate, and also usually come in at a really great deal, even compared to something like the Surefire, which is like absurdly expensive for a flashlight. It's kind of ridiculous, but you gotta love those government contracts, right guys? Surefire war comp, that's great. Hopefully you throw a suppressor on there and shoot this thing suppressed. BCM grip that looks like you chop down. I've done that too. I dig that. Midwest Industries rail. I like the Midwest Industries rail, and I actually like this one more than the other one that has the QDs on the front and back. I like the fact this one has QDs only on the back. However, I wish they had inlaid them with steel inserts, because eventually the aluminum is just going to rip right out with your steel QDs. Cloud Defensive tape switch mount. I used to have one of those, worked well. Let's see, what else we got here? SBA 3 brace. So you got a brace on there, and I see what you got inside that brace. I won't say what it is just to help you out, but we see what you're doing. I approve. Daniel Defense grip, which he has since swapped out for a Magpul K2. That's great. I have a K2 Plus as well, so I appreciate that. And a Triton Navigator 1-6 LPVO. Never heard of that before, but you're doing some testing on it. Hopefully it goes well. Honestly, guys, these budget red dots and magnifiers and scopes and all this kind of stuff, they are getting way better than they used to be. And for guys who are not, we're not MARSOC, we're not Navy SEALs, we're not, you know, GBRS or whatever. A lot of times, guys, these more budget, not saying just absolute tier airsoft stuff, but these more budget options are completely adequate for the level of shooters and hobbyists that we are. Unless you are specifically like, this is my go-to-war rifle if the world fell apart, you know, depending on 100%. Even some of the Chinese stuff can still work, but you know, yeah, at that point, obviously, get is the most expensive, the most, not even most expensive, the most reputable stuff you can. I do understand that. But for a rifle like this thing's probably totally fine. I like the aesthetic. I like the way it looks. Setup is very practical. I don't mind an LPVO and a short rifle. Don't like the grip very much, which obviously you didn't either. Overall, I like this. I like this a lot. I would definitely SBR it as soon as you can. I know you might be waiting for the whole SBR thing to go by. I really can't find much to critique about this rifle. Maybe get a different safety selector. That's like my main critique. I personally don't like the spray paint. That's just me. I get that guys do, but at the same time, I kind of like the fact it looks sort of rugged and abused, if you will. So overall, I dig it. Very simple, very functional. Nice rifle. On to the next submission. Okay, so the next rifle we have here is from actually a local guy. His name's Cooper. I shoot PCSL matches with him, and he's a really good shooter and a really cool guy. He sent in his PSA 15 16-inch. He's got a primary arms SLX 1-6 on there, armor specialties aspect 9 suppressor. I've never heard of that before, and a Magpul sling and grip. Let's take a look at this thing. Wow, that is a big can. Okay, so super long can. We've got, ooh. All right, I'm gonna ding points on it. I do not like handguards like that. I understand you. I mean, this probably was, you know, is what came with the rifle, but I just don't get why people don't have full Picatinny rail all the way across the top of the rifle, unless maybe you're like a hyper level competitive shooter that's like chasing the tiniest like ounces and ounces for a lightweight rifle. Aside from that, man, I hate these handguards. Just me. Decent Magpul grip on there, nice and simple, keep it easy. SL stock on it, totally fine stock, a little rattly, but those are fine. MOE grip, not a huge fan of the MOE grip. That angle kind of hurts my wrist. I prefer a little bit more vertical, not as vertical as the Kung Fu grip, but kind of in the middle, like a K2 plus. Radiant safety, looks like he's got a aftermarket charging handle, can't tell which kind. He's got some sort of trigger in there. This could be the PSA 2-stage trigger, maybe, or 2.5 pound trigger, or it could be a Rise armament trigger. The trigger shoe, not my favorite. Hopefully it's decent. I just feel like that trigger shoe is kind of wonky looking. And then the Phase 5, okay, so this is cool. The Phase 5 battery assist device or whatever, it's basically like their version of the bad lever. I am a big fan of bad levers. I think they're totally cool, totally fine, and a great way to create ambi capability in a rifle that doesn't come with some sort of proprietary ambi system like my ADM over there. I think this is rad. I think the Phase 5 is one of the best ways you can do that. Super sturdy, much more robust than the bad lever. However, it is a little bit bigger and chunkier, so it can like get some snagged on some stuff. I had that issue with mine a couple times, but nothing significant. And again, way better than a bad lever. And he's got the primary arms 1-6 on there. Love primary arm scopes. I love their red dots. Almost everything they do, primary arms just knocks it out of the park. I have their 6X magnifier on my rifle right now, and I really like it. This one, I'm not a big fan of that gold color. I know they probably say it's bronze, but really gold and a little shiny. I feel like that might be a little, you know, if we want to war game it a little bit and say like, oh, we're, you know, going to the end of the world, the blah, that sucker's probably going to shine off the sun pretty good. But it looks like you got it on a decent scope mount. Kind of a budget build, but you're going to slap a bipod on this thing and you probably have a pretty solid mid-range option here. I would say my biggest gripes of this gun are the grip. That handguard is the biggest one, and that suppressor, unless this was like a dedicated SPR or you know, recce type build. If that's the case, then go for it. Otherwise, that can is super duper long. I prioritize lighter cans, but that's just me. So overall, I like it. A couple of critiques, but pretty good. Thank you, man, for submitting this. I appreciate it, and I will see you at the next match here soon. See you, buddy. All right, next submission is a pistol build from Zachary. He sent in a Springfield Echelon. It's got a OEM threaded barrel, Riton 1 Tactics EED enclosed emitter red dot. Never heard of it, but that's kind of cool. And Streamlight 201 HL, SIG Mod X45 modular titanium suppressor. Very simple build here. That suppressor looks sick. It kind of reminds me of like the, oh gosh, I forget the name of that company, but they make a modular one as well where each one comes off individually. This one looks like it's not necessarily like each one individually, but it comes off in a couple different modular sections. Titanium though, so it's probably 3D printed, so super lightweight, maybe even flow through, perhaps. Echelons are great. Everyone knows I love the Echelon. I got my sweet cheeks right here. I got the Vortex Defender XL on it right now. That is my sweet, sweet girl. I got the black backstrap on the FDE frame, which I just noticed. I think you do too. That's fine. I mean, I don't know if you saw mine and did it, but either way, isn't that the coolest thing? I don't know. It's just small. It's small stuff like that that makes, you know, makes it fun to be a gun guy and kind of stand apart and mess around. You know what? Have fun. They're guns. They're tools and all that, but they're also just fun to dick with a little bit. So have a good time. I like that red dot. I like the way that red dot looks, especially the profile of that thing is very attractive looking. Let me know in the comments, is it bright though? A lot of these off-brand or like smaller name red dots I've noticed after doing a bunch of testing on different ones, they can look cool. They can even be pretty tough, but for some reason they're not as bright as the other big dogs in the segment. So please let me know how much it is and if it is bright enough for like daytime shooting. TLR1HL light, good old fashioned light. Yeah, just a decent build. Nothing really crazy to it. One thing I would say I would probably do, my critiques would be, not a huge fan of the TLR1HL. I think they're fine lights, but I believe honestly that the TLR7 HLX has the same power and output and throw, even better throw sometimes, for a much smaller package. So I would probably throw on a TLR7 HLX on there. The Riton, if it is bright enough and tough enough, solid. If not, I would go with something different. And I also would reach out to my dogs at Springer Precision and get you a magwell. I am a whore for magwells, y'all know that. And Springer makes one of the best magwells for the Echelon out there. Super tastefully done, nice and low profile, but super functional. Big old gaping hole right there. This is also compatible with the factory extended base plates from the Echelon. You don't have to run these, but it won't fit the flush fit base plates, just the extended ones. And then you can get these ones too. But Springer, man, I've said it 100 times. Love the guys at Springer. One of the first companies to sponsor the channel with products, and that means a lot. And they're just genuine. Like, believe me when I say this, they are genuinely cool, awesome people that make very, very, very nice stuff. Every dollar you spend with those guys, you really can stand behind, and I'm behind too. So go support Springer. Dude, love your build, get a magwell. Okay, so we got another submission from Dylan. He also has a YouTube channel. It's The Prepared Father. Y'all go follow him as well. Keep on supporting small creators like myself, and let's grow together. He's got a big long list here of components. I'm gonna go ahead, this is so long I'm not gonna read it. I'm gonna put this list up on screen. You guys can read it and go through everything, but give me a second, I'm gonna read it and we'll cut right here. Okay, let's take a look at this thing here. Pretty good build. We love the industrial carpet in the background that everybody has. Geisley makes good stuff. Upper and lower is Geisley. Love the handguard. Very robust handguard. A little heavy, but super duper strong. I like that bolt carrier group kind of matching the tone of everything. That's cool too. The grip, I believe this grip and even magazine are white labeled from PSA or for PSA from this company. I've never held one. It's part of their Saber line, I believe. Never held one or used their magazines, but I'm kind of curious how you like it. If you think they're pretty cool, let me know. I do think I might want to, try one out one day. Lead and Steel LP1. Okay, so it's a V2 as well. There's some controversy with Lead and Steel. I know Ahmad, the guy who owns the company, or at least is the face of the company, can kind of be a dick and everything. Aside from the litigious nature of the company, I have never been anything but impressed with the products, except for, I will say, the Ghost adapter plate that I got with the PB3. The screws they use are absolutely trash, and we're constantly backing out. Had to put different screws in there. It's been fine ever since. But aside from that, I've never had an issue with Lead and Steel products. They've always been very tough and strong and super bright, nuclear bright emitters, which is great. So I personally like them, and I love the aesthetic and how they look too. So I'm a fan of the product. We've got a Surefire Scout Light. That's great. SBA 3 brace, get it SBR'd as soon as you can. I'm sure you're waiting too. This BCM foregrip here, or hand stop, why is it backwards? Now, if it works for you, it works for you. And I hope you know it's backwards. I'm sure you do, but explain to me in the comments, let me know. What's your reasoning for putting it backwards? I'm curious to find out. It looks a little funky. You know, I look pretty funky too, and my wife still loves me. So I do like the Unity riser. I had my LP1 on a Unity riser as well, but then KDG put out this side lock mount, QD side lock mount, which is awesome. I love QD stuff. Roll it right off the rail, so super cool. Nothing wrong with Unity, but I do like QD stuff instead. This can looks pretty big, so I'm sure the rifle is pretty quiet for 5.56. Tape switch, got some goon tape on there, 100 Concepts light cap on it. Overall, I mean, this looks like a pretty solid build. You do have the little hack of putting a bungee cord strap on the sling that allows you to have kind of like that tension on the sling, and it looks like a T-Rex arm sling if I'm not mistaken, or a Ferro Concepts. I wonder, did you say what sling you have on there? Let's find out. I don't see it, so I'm not sure which sling it is, but I do like the little paracord on there. I wouldn't do orange, you know, it's very bright colored, obviously. Other than that, you know, this build is very tasteful. So trying to think of things that I would change on this rifle. I would flip the hand stop around. I probably would not have the American flag on the side. I love the American flag, obviously. I'm, you know, all about that, of course. I just don't like having big, like, stamped logos on my guns. But if there was only one logo I could have on my gun, it would be an American flag. So no harm, no foul. Overall, I like it. Get rid of that orange paracord, but other than that, this is pretty tight. Cool build, man. I like the optic too. Not very common to see LP1s out there, but this one definitely looks like you run this gun. So thanks for submitting the rifle. Is another one from Prepared Father. He has a pistol build. It's a Glock 19 Gen 5 ZevTech Pro Dimple Barrel. That's cool. Fiber optic iron sights, lead and steel PB3 in jade. Gen 1 Kinshot hydraulic recoil spring. Never heard of those, but I do like that idea. Glock performance trigger TLR7X by Streamlight. Shield Arms Magwell in a Klecker tactical sidecar design holster. So let's take a look at this thing. Okay, interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, the contrast of black to the silver barrel and the green red dot, that's a lot to take in. So aesthetically, I'm not a massive fan of the configuration, but the Gen 1 PB3 I think is an underrated option for an enclosed red dot. The Gen 2 on the Dusk 19R right here, I think is a very worthwhile upgrade to check out if you happen to be looking for one, but the Gen 1s are nice too. Unfortunately with the MOS system, they just sit so damn high, and that's not really the fault of the red dot, it's just the fault of the MOS system, unfortunately. Fiber optic sights, not a huge fiber optic guy. I feel like they always just fly out, no matter how much gloop I put on the, you know, switch the fiber optic and heat it up with a lighter or whatever. They always seem to fly out on me. And if your gun's ported, just like, good luck. It's gonna blow out all the time. But you know, I understand the functionality behind it. I just don't necessarily like them for myself. Glock performance trigger. One of the only triggers I would get for a Glock, if I'm honest. It's that OEM confidence in the back of your head, but it feels way better than a factory trigger, in my opinion, that comes in a Glock. TLR7X, good light. Magwell, great. Dig it. Very simple build, but pretty capable, I would say. A little bulky for me on a 19, having that massive red dot. Kind of feels like the Dust 19R, very similar, just massive accessories on a small pistol. And the color kind of throws me off a little bit. But aside from that, cool build. Thank you for submitting 2 options there, man. I appreciate that. Okay, so we have another submission from John. He submitted a pretty sweet looking Geisley setup. So he says Blem finds Geisley stripped lower, Geisley 13.5 handguard, Geisley 2-stage trigger. Can't remember which one. That looks like the, is it the SSX or something like that? It's the one with that like triangular bladed spine to it. Very nice trigger, I know that. BCM stripped upper and Geisley buffer tube and spring. Okay, so a lot of Geisley stuff and then a BCM upper, which I'm assuming you had to get Cerakoted, unless they make them that way. I'm not too sure. Looks pretty good. I like the 50 Shades of FDE kind of vibe. Everything else is a Criterion 14.5 barrel, Lantac mil-spec, Lantac M-spec BCG. Those are nice BCGs. Radiant charging handle, Battle Arms ambi selector, A2 birdcage, Difrico Kung Fu pistol grip, SB3 pistol brace, Edgar Sherman sling, EXPS3 EOTech, and a CMMG LPK, which is lower parts kit for y'all that don't know. This is a pretty tasteful build. Very lightweight, very kind of like minimal, and honestly kind of pure, you know, with the A2 front muzzle device on there. I like this a lot. I personally am not a huge fan of the Difrico grips. They are not super comfortable to my hands. However, I know a lot of people do really like them. There's really not much I can critique on this rifle, dude. This thing is pretty damn clean. You definitely either have a shit ton of credit card debt or you got a good job and you make decent money, because a lot of this stuff is not cheap by any means, or maybe you just budget appropriately and you're financially responsible. I don't want to put that on you. You know, usually in these days, people just like slap a credit card down and they're 10 bands in debt for a rifle or whatever. And hopefully you didn't do that. But if you're a younger guy out there or even an older guy and you're like, oh, I want this thing for a gun, I promise you, it'll be there in the future. Just wait, save up for it, and buy it. Don't put it on a card, man. That'll be a hole you will be digging yourself out of for a long time. Overall, I like it a lot. I would probably swap out the EOTech for something else. I am personally not a massive EOTech fan. I think their silhouette is amazing, and they're totally fine. Optics, of course, like nothing wrong with them per se. I just rather would kind of branch out a little bit and try new stuff per se, I guess. But regardless, with this one, I probably would throw it onto a riser. I'm a big fan of a more heads up position. I have a bad neck on the right side, so it's harder for me to kind of crane down and be down like this on the rifle for a long period of time. So that's why most of my optics are a little bit higher. Overall, man, this rifle is slick, very tasteful. It all matches, very nice and clean. Little Magpul T-Mag in there just for the sauce. Yeah, this is a sick build, dude. I do like it a lot. I probably would throw a flashlight on there. You got your red dot. You need a way to aim your target. You got your sling. You need a way to retain your firearm, and you need a flashlight to be able to identify who you're shooting at. So I would probably throw a flashlight on there and maybe a hand stop or something. But overall, I mean, this is a great start to a very, very well vetted, you know, rifle as far as brands and stuff. So thank you so much for submitting it. So he also submitted a pistol build, and it's pretty hot. This is a CZP01. I'm gonna be honest with you, never shot one. I would love to. If you're local, dude, to DFW, let me know, because man, I would love to shoot this thing. I've been curious about them for a long time, but this is a very good photo, and just a very aesthetically pleasing, you know, eye candy right here for sure. So primary machine optic cut and plate with fiber optic backup iron sights, because these guns don't come optic ready from the factory, I believe. I think I'm right there. RMR Type 2, polished barrel, polished mags, Terran Tactical base plates, ZIB walnut grips, Dawson Precision Fiber Optic front sight, Surefire X300, and DPM Systems spring kit. Hey, dude, these DPMs. We love DPM Systems, man. They are a great company and very supportive. Also, like Springer, they were one of the first ones to support the channel. So shout out DPM. Appreciate you guys as always. This is a beautiful gun, dude. This is a beautiful, beautiful build. Love those walnut grips. This just seems like a perfect balance between classic style and modern features and functionality. You know, I haven't held one, so I can't say I like it in my hands, but man, this thing is beautiful. If I was going to change anything on it, I probably would not use the RMR. Oh, actually, he says that picture is slightly out of date, ended up switching over to an SRO. So that's not too bad. I personally think that Trijicon optics, while they are extremely reliable and very robust, you're paying a lot of money for stuff that doesn't have shake awake. The distortion on the SRO is not great. I know the RMR's window is very small and very blue tinted. So there's definitely some stuff that makes them feel a little bit dated, but I understand, you know, the legacy you want to get behind, and also supporting an American company is great too. I think because I do YouTube stuff, I want to just try everything. I want to try all the different and just like, you know, dive into it. So I would probably slap maybe like Vector Optics sent me a red dot that is really cool. It's a competition style red dot. Gosh, let me find it. I've got it right here on my Ross Martin RM1C. This is the Vector Optics Frenzy, and it is a very cool looking dot. Kind of has that SRO sort of, you know, hooded design, how it kind of slopes forward at the bottom end right there. Looks tight, backup iron sights milled into the housing. Emitter, not super duper bright, but brighter than some of the Siley optics I've had. This is an exciting little, you know, budget red dot. Not saying it compares to an SRO, but just saying if you wanted to branch out and just try some new stuff, this might be something fun to throw on a pistol and try out. Back to this build. Sorry, I got distracted. I like it a lot. It's pretty hot. I would love to see this with a TLR7 on there to kind of flush up to the nose of the pistol. Man, this is a clean ass build. He also has a channel as well. It goes by JFR19. So y'all go follow him on YouTube and let's support each other. Okay, so those are all the builds. I know I didn't necessarily roast them too hard. I just kind of critiqued them and talked about them, but it's cool. I just really love seeing all the different styles and builds that people have put together, especially the guys that choose to follow me. And there's just something about, you know, getting to interact with you guys on a different level than just seeing how many likes and comments and subscribers I get. I also want to be able to actually like interact with people. And one day I would like to host some range days here in DFW. So let me know if you would enjoy doing a range day competition, maybe doing a fundraiser for a charity, something like that. Thought that might be sort of fun. All right, so after looking back over all of the builds, I think the one that I'm going to select as the winner of the Lamb right here is JFR 19. So I think the reason why I like JFR's builds the most is because they seem the most coherent. His rifle is beautiful. Love the color combo. Love how everything kind of matches, but it's like a 50 Shades of FDE type build with his BCM upper and Geisley lower and handguard. He matched it with the OpMod FDE EOTech, and the only critique I had really was just that Kung Fu grip and the fact that he doesn't have a flashlight. So I think the rifle is my favorite one. Now his pistol, he also had a beautiful pistol submission. That CZ, man, oh golly, it's just a hot freaking gun. Like, again, I don't even know if I like shooting them. I never shot one. I don't know if it'll fit in my hand. I have no idea, but I would love to just stare at it for hours. You know, that was my initial reaction to it. And so I just kind of went based off my gut, and both those builds together is why I think he deserves to be the winner of the right here. And I even said he needed a flashlight, and this has a flashlight in it. So there you go, man. I will reach out to you on Instagram and get your information and get this shipped off to you at no expense to yourself, man. So congratulations for being the first winner of the Bust Your Builds video series. And guys, just like I said, you could have been part of this and potentially won this Lamb completely free if you just submitted your build. So next time we do this, I'll give you guys a heads up. Submit your builds. It's super cool to be able to communicate with you guys a little bit differently, not just seeing the numbers of like how many likes and subscribers I get and things like that, but being able to like actually interact with you on a different level has been really fun. So please subscribe, like, share, comment, do all the things. I can't wait to do another Bust Your Builds video and give away some more shit. But until next time, guys, talk less, shoot more. Peace. Alexa, order 8-inch strawberry fantasy knot with strong suction cup, silicone animal monster dildo cute large butt plug.